Welcome to the Fit Girl Magic podcast. If you are ready to find your inner magic, develop great habits, and a rock steady mindset to feel confident, comfortable, and fit in your body, you are in the right place. I am Kim Barnes Jefferson, and I'll be giving you weekly doses of health, fitness, and life tips sprinkled with humor and real talk. If you're ready to be consistent without the stress of perfection, magic makers, it's time to slip into your favorite pair of PJs, grab some coffee, kick back, and listen to today's show.
All right, Magic Makers, another iTunes review of the week. This one is from Emmy Roberts 24. She says, Kim is the queen. She is fierce, funny, and smart as a whip. Kim embodies what it means to be a life coach by offering so much more than diet and workout tips. Whether you're a gym junkie or just beginning your journey, she helps you see that living an all-around better lifestyle is not only attainable, but something you can strive for, regardless of your age. Kim is tough love friend. You need to kick your butt into gear. She said something recently that resonated with me. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain your boundaries to justify them to anyone. Let that sink in. 5 stars always. Thank you, Miss Emmy Roberts. Yes, that was a game changer for me. You know, when I first started in this fitness journey, I was double dipping. I had a corporate job as well as fitness, and it was really hard for me to say no to clients. It was really hard for me to say no to my boss because I needed the cash. But I was getting burnt the F out. And so I finally had to come up with my boundaries and finally have to say to myself, like, you know what? It doesn't work for me to work out in the morning. Like I just can't do it. And now I don't really hop on the phone with a client until at least 10 o'clock in the morning. I need that warm up time for me. So I really want you to start thinking and exploring your boundaries. I've done several podcasts about boundaries, and please listen to them if you're someone who's like, I need some boundaries in my life. Thank you again, Miss Emmy Roberts. If there's anyone out there who would love to share a iTunes review and you're like, I don't know how to do that, reach out to me. In the bottom of this podcast, you will find out how you can reach out to me for social media, and just shoot me a DM. I will answer them. All right, ladies, enjoy the episode. All right, Magic Makers, we are doing a follow-up to the previous episode, and it's funny, in all the years that I've had a podcast, I don't think I've done a two-parter, but here we are. It's a two-parter. So in part 1, I talked about the Doable 26 and what exactly that was. You don't have to go back and listen to it, but if you want a little backstory, it would be great to do it. But, you know, the Doable 26, it's inspired by Gretchen Rubin. She has a 2026 list. Yeah, that was a tongue twister. And I saw it and I was like, wow, that's such a great idea. And I was like, you know, how do I apply this to health and fitness? Because we need this kind of stuff. So I created my own version of the 26 health tips, and it's going to start up on February 1st. And it's like things like drink water first thing in the morning, eat protein at breakfast, walk after a meal, go to bed 15 minutes early, simple, doable stuff. But here's the deal. You don't have to do them all. I know that my type A++ folks out there, you're going to be like, girl, I could do it all. I got this. Right? And I know it totally sounds really good. But here's the thing. You could skip what doesn't resonate with you. The goal after doing all 26 of them is be able to find that 1 to 3 things that actually work for you. Because I know I am that person that, you know, when I made this list, like your brain immediately goes, oh, but I can do them all. Like, of course. And that's exactly why most plans fail. Not because they're bad ideas, not because none of these deals will get you end results. It's because we turn them into full-time jobs. So this episode isn't about a how-to. It's more about how do you make it an experiment? How do you get curious? Like, my favorite word is curious. And so many of us just race to this is what happened in the past without getting curious. You know, I've talked about this before that there are 4 mindsets when it comes to weight loss over 40. And the number one thing that keeps many women stuck is rigidity. This is how it has to be. And if it's not this way, I'm not going to get results because of the fear, right? You know, even though I know if I go down the road, there's going to be this big scary dog that's going to jump out and try to bite me. I'm going to go down the road because I know that there's going to be this big scary dog. If you are already tired of January, this is for you. I am hosting the Doable 26. It's not a reset. It's not a diet. It's not about pretending that you're going to start a different life this year. You'll get 26 small, boring, wildly effective, healthy habits right away so that you can see the full picture. Then starting on February 1st, you can follow along day by day and work at a pace that actually fits your real life. We're not trying to do 26 things in a day. We're not about perfection, not about checking all the boxes. This is just enough structure to help you to stop starting over and over again. If you want the full list, do me a favor. The link to the Doable 26, that is in the show notes. It's totally free. So come join us. So, we really need to start leaning into being more curious, well, what if I didn't do it, go down that street? What would happen? There's an old proverb. I can't think of the name of it, but it's I walked down the street and I fell into the hole. Then it's I walked down the street and then I did something else and I fell into the hole. But it was so many times you kept falling and repeating the same patterns and falling down into the same hole. So my goal here is to say, how do we tell our brains cut the crap, right? And normalize that it's okay to not feel like you have to do it all, to feel that if you don't check all the boxes, something is wrong with you, that you're inadequate, right? We've just been programmed that way for so long. We've been, brainwashed that more is better, gold stars, check all the boxes or it doesn't count. And if you don't go all in, you're half-assing it. Here's the thing though, doing more, yeah, absolutely feels productive, because otherwise I'm being lazy. And, how many times have we been, accused of just loafing around and being lazy? And that feels impossible, to be able to just kind of ease into things. And that's backward thinking for us. And the reason why is that our brain really likes certainty. Our brain is programmed to want to know the ending, right? I always laugh that at the beginning when I read a book, and one of the reasons why I read hardcover books. One of the reasons why I read physical books is because I like to peek and be am I invest? I don't want to invest in this and not be oh, it is going to get better. It is going to get good. It's kind of some books don't have trailers, right? If a movie has a trailer, you're ooh, that looks good. I don't need to know the ending, but I need to know if I'm 50 pages in, I'm kind of about the book. Is it worth pushing through? And so I want you to get to that point. We've hit halftime. Is it worth pushing through? Worth trying something else? Abso-frickin-lutely it is. So you didn't get this far because you wanted to be the ultimate box checker, right? Is that a goal in your life? Because if it is, I don't want to steal your goal. And that I get it. That was me, right? I was the ultimate box checker. If there was a box, I was checking it. And if I didn't check all the boxes, I was a total failure. And that's how my brain worked, because I was programmed that, right? And also because our brain loves a plan. Our brain loves structure. But what if it can't handle the mental load that we keep throwing on it? We already have, say, 10 things on our list. And we're here's 10 more. You can handle it. Here's another 10. And here's another 10. And eventually it's you're kind of juggling as things keep being thrown at you. And then that's how everything starts to fall apart. So let me paint this picture for you of what my life looked like probably going on over a decade ago, when I was trying to do all the things. I was working out 2 hours a day, every day, or it didn't count. If I did take a rest day, it was yoga, right? That was it. I was eating 100% clean, or if I was off the wagon. I had to Google every restaurant before I left my damn house. Social events that gave me this anxiety as to what I was going to eat. I always had to have a protein shake before I left the house. My health and fitness had such a chokehold on my life. Everything revolved around it. And the wild part is that I would regularly have to take breaks from my workouts because I just was burnt to a damn crisp. My nutrition was all over the place. I was either perfect or a complete hot mess. I didn't have any middle ground, right? It was just I was a light switch. I was on, I was off. And my favorite part is that I would get up early and get in a workout if I was going to the beach with my husband. I was like, I would look at my week. I still look at my week and map out my week. But now instead of like panic when I can't get to the gym on the days I typically like to get to the gym, it's more like, again, approaching it with curiosity, with creativity. Be like, okay, I typically go to the gym on Saturday. Saturday, I had to drop something off. And I was like, all right, instead of Saturday, I'm going to move my rest day to Saturday and work out on Friday so that it's not being like this like bubbled up anxiety. I threw my back out this week, and instead of being like, oh, I'll just do some biceps. Oh, I'll just do some triceps. Oh, I'll just do some. I was like, girl, sit your ass down, go for a walk, do some mobility work. And this shift still blows my mind, but it's what's absolutely necessary for where I am in my life right now, right? I no longer feel like I need to earn my free time, right? I no longer feel like I need to be stressed out before I go out for a social dinner, stressed out before I go on vacation, knowing that I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind and then have to come home to make it up. So about 10 years ago, my husband and I were going on a dream trip to Australia and New Zealand, and I was spiraling. I was like, I'm going away for 30 days. And instead of thinking about, oh my God, what do I want to see? I was so fixated on my workouts and my food. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to work out? What about my food? What if I can't check all my boxes? But I didn't want to be that girl on the trip. I didn't want to be the ugly American. So I made a decision and I scaled way back. And I said 3 things, right? I just needed something to kind of give me a little bit of structure, but not feel like I was going to be like really hemmed into something. So, and I've shared this before, is that every day I had a big ass salad with protein, move my body at least 3 days a week, and sleep at least 7 hours. That was it, right? And I got on the plane. I was nervous as hell, but you know what happened? It worked, right? Just focusing on those 3 things made me enjoy my vacation. And guess what? I hit them all. The only time I didn't really sleep 7 hours is that, the jet lag. So you're just kind of like passing out at your time, but you should be awake their time. But things started to level out because I made a conscious effort that's what I was focusing on. And I enjoyed the trip. I didn't spiral. I didn't burn out. I didn't come home needing a break. I didn't come home feeling like I needed to make up for anything I did. And that trip, it made me realize the things I was chasing. I was so caught up in the more that I couldn't see how exhausted I was. I couldn't see how unsustainable my activities were. Like I couldn't, it started to dawn on me like, yeah, Kim, that's why every X number of weeks you feel like I got to take a break, because I was like always like flooring it. And, none of the habits I was trying to maintain were bad before this trip. They were just, it was doing them. That was the problem. Doing the 30-step checklist, that was the problem. And here's what hit me, that the problem aren't that habits are hard. The problem is that we don't practice what ones we choose. And what actually worked for me wasn't about going harder. It was backing off. And I see it, so many of you come to me and you're like, oh, Kim, I just can't get back to what I used to do. And that's a sign, right? That is a big red flag, a sign of what your life has evolved to. I have a client, and I'm fortunate that I have a high client retention rate. And another client, and she's been my client since her like late 20s, early 30s. And she, at the time, had 1 child. Pay Kim on to get the baby back. Baby weight off and get back. Great. Fabulous. Then time goes on. She has baby number 2, baby number 3. And here we are, baby number 3. She's like, Kim, like, what the hell? Like, I just can't get this weight off, and I just can't get back to the gym. And I really need to get back to the gym the way I want to get back to the gym. And it's kind of like, Sharon, you got 3 kids. So you spending 2 hours at the gym, I know that that's not possible for you on a regular basis just because you have 3 kids. You work. And here's where we have to kind of get clear, like, what can you do right now? How can we get creative given the amount of time that you have? And Sharon, can you have the courage to break free of always trying to go back to like, oh, Kim, when we first started working together, I was able to, and I get that. Like, I get it because one, working at 2 hours was just what I did, right? I didn't think anything was, I thought that was like, that's how you work out. Now, the thought of a 2-hour workout, hard pass. Hard pass. Do I have the time? Yeah. Do I want to make the time? No. So we need to kind of really look at our life and stop with this do or die, right? The habits worked for me because they were doable, because I chose them. And when I go back to that do or die era, and I apologize to clients who were with me during that do or die era, I was basically setting people up for failure. Because if the things I recommended didn't line up with what was going on in your life, if they were a little bit too much, or you felt like you were doing them wrong, you would hide, or you would just blow them off, right? Or you would lie to me. And I didn't mean to do that, but that's what I was creating. So I had to fix it. And since that trip, that was like big lightning bolt struck me in the head. Consistency doesn't come from intensity. I really want you to say that again. Consistency doesn't come from intensity. It doesn't come from effort. It comes by really coming up with things that you can sustain. They're not sexy, but they absolutely work. So that's what the Doable 26 is, right? It's not a plan. It's not a checklist. You don't complete this and win a prize. It's 26 really small, healthy tips. There's no rhyme or reason to the order. There's no timeline. There's no pressure. You just try what sounds good and you skip what don't. And I've talked about this before. There's a martial artist. His name is Bruce Lee. In the 70s, late 60s or 70s, he was like the martial artist. And he didn't have one particular style of martial arts. And I'm sure there's several forms of martial arts. And I use this analogy a lot. So I really should look up how many forms of martial arts there are. Anywho, it doesn't take away from the story. So anyway, he studied a zillion martial arts forms, but he only took what he needed. And I feel you, because right now, if I were to go onto my social media feed, if I were to go to a party, if I were to go to the gym, there are a million people telling me different things. Oh, don't need that. Make sure you have this. Bulk up on that. Oh, do you don't want to do that? Take this supplement. Oh, no, take that supplement. And it's just like your head is just like, if we were cartoon characters, you would see like the swirl above our head. So why I did the Doable 26 is that I don't want you to quit, right? I want you to discover what works for you, not what worked for you 30 years ago, not what worked for you in your 20s, not what some influencer said on Instagram, not what you heard at the gym or at some cocktail party. This is for you to do an experimentation, right? For you to come up with the 3 things that I did. And, I held on to those 3 things for a really long time. And I've since then had to break up with those 3 things. So I've evolved the list, and I've told myself that every January when I do my review of the year, I'm going to go back and review my non-negotiables and say, where am I? Right? So the 3 non-negotiables I gave you, I pretty much do those right now. So now my new non-negotiables are going to be 3 tablespoons of beans with most meals. It's going to be 2 days of cardio. And I haven't come up with a third. But right now, those 2 feel really good for me. So if you've ever quit something that actually was a good idea because it was too much, felt like you had to check all the boxes, this is for you, right? The Doable 26 is going to start on February 1st. And every day in the Facebook group, I will put a link in the show notes. I'm going to be giving you your one simple tip. That's it. It's, drink water, protein before breakfast, set a bedtime, walk after a meal, little things like that. Nothing like, okay, put on your boots and climb Mount Everest. Like, no, we're not going to do anything like that. And so every day I'm going to drop a tip. You get to choose the pace. You get to choose what you try. There's no such thing as falling behind. And if you want to see all the tips right now and get a little preview, do me a favor, comment. You can send me a DM and comment preview, or you can just go into the show notes and click the link there, and you'll get all 26 of the tips that I'm going to be talking about. But you'll also get a bingo card for a way for you to track your results. But here's what I really want to hear from you. I want you to pick one thing, like right now, pick one thing. Let it be boring AF and let it be enough. And if you're not here to win February, you're here to build something that you're actually going to live with. All right. And even if you're listening to this months later, this still works. This is evergreen, right? These 26 things never go away. They will always be ways for you to feel like you are marching towards your healthiest life. All right, Magic Makers. If this episode hit you in the feels, do me a favor, screenshot this and share this with one of your folks who need to hear this. So one of your folks who you're like, hey girl, let's do this together. I would love that. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know where to find me, and I will talk to you next week, Magic Makers.
Thank you for listening to the Fit Girl Magic podcast. If you've made it this far, yay. I'm thinking you enjoyed the show. Let's continue the conversation on Instagram. You can find me at Kim Jefferson Coach. In order for me to keep sharing this message, do me a favor and leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss an episode. New episodes are available every Wednesday. The Fit Girl Magic podcast is intended to provide you with tips, tools, and strategies that will help you make better decisions about your health. I really appreciate your feedback and your support. Thank you so much.